What's going on, y'all, and welcome back to another Epic 7 video. Today we got a little bit of a controversial topic, but I decided that I did want to speak with you guys about it for a few various reasons. So I got to make a few disclaimers, but to cut straight to the point, today's video is about the Architect Leica, Moonlight Leica leaks data mine reveal that's been surfacing on Reddit. We spent all day on stream talking about it. You might have seen it floating around. If you haven't, that's what we're going to talk about today. So quick disclaimers, guys. Everything we're going to talk about today, it's all subject to change, and actually you're going to see here that when we discuss what Leica's going through, we've already seen different information from last week's leak. Some of y'all may not be even caught up on that, and that's fine, guys. Honestly, you shouldn't take stock in any of these kind of data mine leaks because none of it is official until it finally comes out. But yeah, I'll tell you guys all about it. It does look like it's from a trustworthy source, but we'll go into that in detail. The main reason I want to talk about all of this with you guys is because the main thing I had a gripe with on delaying Emma Leica. Listen, delays happen all the time. Smilegate decided, hey, we're not ready to reveal her just yet, but it was unfortunate that, you know, a lot of my guides are talking about, you know, trying to inform y'all on who to maybe pull for here and there, and the current Mystic banner is stacked, right? We all know, guys, the current banner is very, very good, and unfortunately, this is going to be leaving right before Leica. I think we'll maybe have a little bit overlap between her reveal, her release, and then when this banner leaves, but it's almost no time to decide, so I wanted to talk with you guys here, and we do maybe have some info on Leica. Just understand, guys, I'm going to reiterate one last time for y'all. Before we get into all the details, all the information I'm about to share, discuss, this is all subject to change. It might not even be true, but I do think it is worth entertaining, as it did come from a reputable source, at least in my opinion, if what I've been hearing is all accurate. Okay, so as long as we get that out of the way, just take this with a grain of salt, and let's hopefully get some good information out there and maybe help you guys decide on whether you should pull for Leica or one of these other units in the current Mystic lineup, as there's going to be barely any overlap, if any at all. Okay, all right, sorry for that long rant, but I got to make things clear. Let's break it down. All right, y'all, jumping straight into it. I want to jump to the first comment here on the Reddit post. This is from username Sniped, and the top comment here, guys, this is by Cecilia Bot, so it seems trustworthy. Now, I've never met Cecilia Bot, but I've been using his Discord bot. I believe it's the same guy. I think he does other stuff in the community as well. From my understanding, he's been around a long time. I wish I knew him better so I could, you know, maybe reassure y'all. But this is, at least this gives me a little bit of hope that this, you know, isn't a complete troll or fake, whatever. So we're going to go off that. Now, if you guys don't want to pay any attention to any data mine early release stuff, that might be a good idea too. So I don't blame you if you don't want to listen too much. But those of you that do want to follow along, maybe get a little info, come join me. Now, there are some important things we need to discuss, okay? The last week's reveal, I don't know if y'all talked about it, saw it. I did not bring it up because that was even less... I was even less confident that was real. But last week's reveal on Leica, we did know she was a light mage, but her actual zodiac sign was different, as well as her imprint. So either Smilegate is changing things behind the scenes up until her release, or that last week's info was not true. I'm not sure if it's the same person. Just understand, guys, this is more reason to, you know, don't fully take all of this as gospel. All of this is still subject to change. Either this is not really the true case, or Smilegate is still changing things, but we can get an idea, I think, at least, if you do want to believe this stuff, of about how she works, and that's the overall goal. Just get an idea of what she's going to be performing as, and then you guys can determine if you want to pull for the Mystic banner, okay? This isn't really about discussing her kit in general. It's more just so we know if we need to pull on the current Mystic rotation, and it is pretty stacked if you want to use those Mystic medals, okay? Anyways, let's go break it. We'll go through one by one. Not going to take too long. We'll wait for her official preview, as things still might change. But yeah, let's take a quick look here, guys. So her first skill here, removing variables. Basic skill 1 gives combat readiness, lots of damage, Mola enhancements, right? Combat readiness push, S1. Architect Leica's, this is actually her skill 2, right? Laying the groundwork. We do see a target effect. So confirms a target with 85% chance, 100% after Mola, 3-turn cooldown after Mola, to dispel 2 buffs from the enemy, inflict target for 2 turns. Before granting immunity to caster for 2 turns and increasing combat readiness by 50%. Now, this is important too. Her Soulburn effect is an extra turn, and you'll see why that's important when we look at skill 3. But target immunity dispels 2 buffs, right, with 100% chance after skill enhancement. No ignore ER though, take note of that. And then we also get target immunity and then an extra turn if we want, which leads us straight into the skill 3, eliminating the target. 4th turn after Mola, a lot of damage enhancements with everything going as planned. Increases attack of the caster for 2 turns before attacking all enemies. When the target is on a lead or boss monster, so no PvE shenanigans. Damage sharing effects are ignored, right? Escort Aureus. When the enemy is inflicted with target, which we get from the skill 2, penetrates the target's defense by 80%. Damage dealt increases proportional to the caster speed. So we have some speed scaling as well. So if we were to take all these skills, this info as to be true, I think the closest unit in comparison, you guys might have already be thinking of it would be someone like Strays, right? They're both effectively like cleaver style units that are going to do a ton of damage and try to kill their opponents before they get to respond, etc. So very fast, very aggressive. That's kind of the archetype it looks like she's going to be filling if this is accurate, okay? So remember, take all that into stock. This might not, maybe this is not, this is all fake. This is just, you need to understand this is not confirmed to be true until she's officially released next week with the preview. This all could be moot. But hopefully, with all the other background evidence, at least we can get some info. And I do think this might be, if I had to guess, this is probably accurate with just some minor changes that Smilegate may do before next week. But overall, we're not going to break down the skills exactly because of things that might change, but effectively, she's like a Strays that can do AoE. Remember, her skill 2 is a non-attack skill, but she does have AoE. She can be countered. Her defense pen is only 80% compared to 100%. She's going to be more reliant on her soul burn effect, so she's going to need some soul. She is a mage. She can bring book, but that means she's going to get hard countered by units like Bellion with the with a non-attack skill. She might also suffer units like Politis. So she's going to fulfill a similar role to Strays with some pros and cons. You guys can analyze those yourself. I don't want to break it down until we have the full information if any things are subject to change. But overall, that's kind of the archetype she's going to fill, okay? So a light mage that fulfills a similar role to Strays, very aggressive, very cleave-like. You're going to want to build her fast, as that I think that's one of her biggest benefits over Strays, right? Is her base speed, especially if you add the Mage Frenzy in for RTA. That might end anytime next season. Who knows? But that's kind of Leica in a nutshell if this were all to be true. Now let's bring it back over to the custom mystic page here, guys, because this will be leaving by the time Leica comes out. Now that we have some info on Leica, are these units better or worse than picking her? So here's what I've been hearing from a lot of cleave players out there. If they want to take that info to be true, those skills that we just discussed, I think a lot of players that already have Strays, have other options, are actually not really needing her from what it sounds like. Some people think she looks good, but I think there's going to be some other units, at least first glance, that maybe can fulfill that job. She doesn't really bring anything super unique to the table. Remember, this is all subject to change. Who knows? She might be actually busted. She might be super weak, but from what we glimpse at the skills and what I've talked with some players that play that style, they're not overly excited. Not because it looks like she's going to be bad, but just because she has similar stuff to units we already have out there with some minor differences, right? So, long story short, guys, I can't help each one of you out individually. What you want to pick here is very, very playstyle dependent. For example, today I just got asked on stream, Briarwitch Isari versus Sage Ball and Sezin. This is an easy one to compare the two because Briarwitch Isari, typically, she can play it in any comp, don't get me wrong, but typically she's played in faster, aggressive compositions. You can play in standard with maybe like Guiding Light, but typically you want to be the aggressor. You want to hit them with that big damage debuffs and then stop them from reviving. Sage Ball is kind of the opposite. You don't typically see him in aggressive comps. Instead, you use him to fight faster comps as a slower player, interrupt their game plan with his combat readiness push, and then stop them through the use of debuffs like his sleep, sometimes Abyssal Crown with Suns, whatever. But yeah, those are opposites in terms of their playstyle typically if you look at their standard uses. But if we look at Leica is going to be like Stray, is going to be a cleaver style. That's the same thing. Do you need that kind of unit? Is that your playstyle? If you're more standard, then maybe someone like Lionheart Sirmia might be better. If you're more defensive and you need someone, you can't compete with his speed. Let's say you missed out on Zeo, or you have Zeo but he's always banned. You want someone else to maybe combat readiness push and contest that speed interrupt. Then you're going to want Sage Ball and Sezin. Ambitious Tywin. I've been first picking him, guys. Let me show y'all real quick. We've been now a lot of people aren't playing RTA right now, but we are actually going crazy. We are first picking Tywin every single game, and it's going pretty well, all things considered. Now, that's also going to change as people learn to fight him, but Tywin, just from my own personal experience, and y'all probably guessed from his crazy buffs too, is shaping up to be very, very insane as well. So if you guys like to play that style, I use him as a pure tank. I just think this banner is completely stacked. All four of these units are good in their own regard, and you get the chance of getting an AOL too. That's why I want to discuss this Leica reveal, because yeah, this banner is so stacked. So take that all into consideration. If you have a chance, you need extra help, guys, hit me up via Discord. Stop by my live stream. I'll try to get to the comments, but I can't always get to them in time. So it's better if you ask me live when I can respond immediately. But hopefully this helps you guys out a little bit. Just compare Leica, very aggressive. If you already have Strays, if you have your other cleave units you like already, take a look at what she does exactly and pinpoint if you need those minor differences. Otherwise, go for something you might be missing. Briarwitch Isari, insane right now. Lionheart Sirmia, still pretty good. Very good PvE, very good standard. I still see her a lot. I still use her a lot. And Ambitious Tywin shaping it to be a monster. All right, so we'll end it there, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.